All right.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
We are here live. We are here. Guys, thank you for joining the first class of the Green Interiors Roadmap. It's amazing to
Welcome.
see the amount of people here live. 4,000 people, 5,000 people, I don't know. It's increasing. People are just getting here. People from all around the globe. I don't know if you guys are nervous, but I'm seeing people
I
from
am.
Chile. Yeah, Chile. We are seeing people from India. We are seeing people from the United States. We are seeing people here from Australia. Australia, man, you guys are great because we know it's hard to be live here. It's really late for you, but
The
thank you for
timing,
joining.
yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
suffered the whole Olympics due to to
Yes,
the
we
time.
suffered with Japan in the Olympics just last week. We
Hey,
know how hard it is to stay up. But we know that
yes,
for a great purpose, there is commitment.
Yeah, exactly.
definitely.
Guys,
So, hello, everybody. Nice to see some people are saying hi. Nice to see you again. It's great to see that people are coming back to see our events. And if you are new here, welcome. We hope you like all the event and all the classes.
all right. Guys, thank you for joining this event.
I
Man, I just lost chat here for some reason. Let me just put here. All right, guys, thank you for joining this event. It's going to be amazing. 5 days of classes, 2 hours on each day, the Green Cheers Roadmap. Let's start this, okay? Once again, great to see people from all around the globe. My name is Philip Boni. I'm here with Sami Mira and Tiziana Wise. And Wise, we called, right?
Vice.
Vice, I'm sorry.
Bye.
Because it's sometimes it's hard. All right, so we are here to start this event, Green Cheers Roadmap. We are a company called UGreen, and it's called UGreen because we want you to become green. It's simple like this, and we do these events to teach sustainable design from people from all around the globe, and the idea is to make you shift for this because the world needs this. We need to catalyze this movement. And we made a preparation class on Friday. I talked about the company, the projects that we did, and how we are doing things. We are making this movement, right? People everywhere understanding the concepts about sustainable design and how we can change the world together doing this. And that's why we invite people from all countries. We don't remove any country. We invite everyone because every person is important on this movement. And if you are here, I'd like to say thank you once again. All right. So guys, how this course is going to be structured, we are going to draw things for you here live, and I'll be making a summary. All classes is going to have a summary, and in the end, you will have a password, and you will say on Instagram on direct for me this password, and then I will send you the summary of the class. So of course you can do your personal annotations, but I will be giving you this summary. How this class is going to be structured, okay? It's very important. We are going to have 5 days, right? First day 1, we are going to talk about biophilic design. It's going to be today, right? So if you are here, you are going to receive this. Day 2, tomorrow, the same schedule, right? The same time, we are going to see about acoustics, all right? Day 3, we are going to see about wellness. 4th day, we are going to see about sustainable materials. And in the last day, we are going to see about lighting design. So lighting design, we are going to see all of this on this event, okay? You are going to have all of this. This event is meant to happen live because we want to talk to you in the chat. We want to see every one of you. We want to discuss things. Of course, in the end, we are going to open questions. So this is the way we did things to make it better for everyone. Okay. So the event is going to be like this. We are going to have a certificate in the end of this event. Okay, certificate is going to be issued. Certificates available. But we will have a cost of $7. Okay, this is going to be the cost that we have to issue this for you. Okay, but it's completely optional. I always say, people, what's important is the content, because there are things in this event that you can't find anywhere. So it's something very unique that you're going to receive here. And the certificate is just, in life, usually you're going to see that certificate won't change much your life, is the content. So keep on these classes for the content, please. Okay. All right, so we have this company. We talk about sustainable design. We do education about this. We do consultancies. We develop this course in a structure, right? So we have paid courses, as I said, but we decided to put this course for free, and we do this worldwide because we believe that to change things, to catalyze this movement, to make things really happen, we can't just sell courses. We need to do some things for free so people can understand, they can have the awareness about sustainable design, and this is really important. And that's why we are giving you this content for free, to really catalyze this movement and everyone together make a big change. And if you do 2%, 5%, 10%, 20% better, is that a thing that you can catch if you watch this 5 days? We can do amazing things together, and that's why we are doing this. Okay, so
important. We don't want you to stay with 2 or 5%. We want you just to start with and just catalyze this. And the idea of this movement is actually to get a new moving towards sustainability, doing something, getting you out of that comfort zone of design, and without the sustainability thought behind it, and start thinking or rethinking some things that you have been put it into your projects. One thing that we promise is that you're going to see here on the chat that people will be commenting about, oh yes, I should have thought of that before, or great insight. We usually try to bring you insights that can collaborate in projects right away. The idea is to give you things that you can already put into work, things that are not expensive, that are just a question of rethinking the way you design, especially. We know that some strategies may be a little bit more difficult, but it's good to start thinking towards those strategies. So be patient. I know somebody mentioned here about C hours for lead or well. We are not there yet, but we are working towards this. I think this is a great content that they would totally approve for those kind of hours. It's very aligned with, not with any certification in particular, but with sustainability and the way we design. So a better design, right? That's the idea of bringing this. So welcome everyone to this class.
Yeah, exactly. We can begin, I think, with the content. Then we can send you some other important notifications. So we are going to start this class talking about biophilic design. So thank you everyone who is here live with us. All right, we can begin.
First things first. So what is exactly biophilia? Some already asked in the chat. Biophilia is the love for nature, actually living things mostly. So it is this, when we talk about biophilic design, it is this possibility of bringing nature to the built environment, okay? So people, as we as a species, have been developing mostly in the natural environment. So because of that, all the way our body works and the things that make us feel good are related to nature as a general basis. Okay, so when we bring this to the design, we allow people to feel good, to feel safe, to feel like they are in a good place, that they are able to develop and have cognitive functioning working as properly. Okay, so this is the basis, and this is why we should add nature to the design. Felipe, I think that you are
alone on screen.
Yeah, thank you. So we are still warming up, but we'll catch up. Just have some patience there, okay, guys?
I just wanted to have me here. I will just keep this.
I know, he's just like self-admiring. It was cool to watch your face with Tiziana's mouth voice. It was her voice and your face. It was like
you can talk, and then I do this.
Yeah, it was like a TikTok movie.
Oh, since we are still in the beginning of the class, please, Felipe, explain to people how can they see the screen better.
All right, guys, if you have a problem with your resolution, you should first go near to the Wi-Fi. You need to go near the Wi-Fi connection. Second, you go to the gear in the right corner. Let me show the right corner here, me alone. Here you will find a gear in the right corner, and you can put the quality to full, right? 180, right? The resolution. You can do this, and if you still have problems, you can press F5 and reconnect, because we do this in full definition. So maybe you don't have the better connection, but of course you can proceed.
And it's important that you try to watch it in a bigger screen in relation to the phone. Please don't watch it on the phone. If you can, please watch it on computer or maybe a television so you can see better. The resolution might be good, but it's so small that it's hard to see.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. So this is something that people might take for granted. Okay, nature is good. Everybody knows that. But the thing is, researchers and their studies are showing all around the world that there is some benefits. So they're showing with objective methods that there are some really good benefits from being in contact with nature or close to nature in the cities. For example, people that live near parks, they have lower stress, they have better mood, and they have a faster attention fatigue recovery. Since the 90s, we have been seeing similar results to patients in hospitals. And this is something that is being very consistent throughout all those studies that have been relating the built environment and nature. Okay, and also the last ones, the newest ones, have been having this strong connection between living around nature or close to nature and the value of the property. So you can rent and you can sell your property with higher values, also because of the quality of the environment around it. So this is something that we should really think careful about. We have not been adding enough nature in our cities, and this is one of the main reasons why people have been thinking about living in the outskirts of cities. Especially with the pandemic, a lot of people discovered that they could work from home, and they start thinking, okay, I'm going to live in the country, away from the city, away from this craziness. But the thing is, we should make the opposite. We should make city better. And one of the first things that we think about when we think about nature is plants, vegetation, right? I know that we are here in an interior design course, but sometimes in some places, the interior designer is also allowed to work with landscape design. And sometimes we also have a lot of landscape designers in our courses. So we wanted to be very, have a wide approach. Because we know that ultimately it's about what the client's desires, what they want for you to develop in the design, and not really, okay, what is in your box of work, right? So when you think about plants, either for a garden or an interior garden, or whatever you want to do in your space, if you are working with plants, please try as much as possible to use native plants, okay? They can be used to express multiple ways, multiple styles of design. You don't have to have a Japanese garden in Brazil, okay? They are great, they are lovely, they are really beautiful, but sometimes doesn't match. And the species are not really, of course, they're not the same as here in Brazil. So we should try to use native plants for many reasons. Not only because it's easier to find, but also they are adapted. They live in those conditions, those weather conditions very well. You won't have to irrigate them very often. You won't have to manage them and have. They are not really high maintenance. Okay, so this is the main reason, and also because there is a whole chain of events between vegetation and fauna that when you choose native species, you are also allowing this chain of events, this cycle to continue, okay? So, and also if you are designing in a place that already has a good vegetation, please try to preserve them. Okay, I know that sometimes we want to make things new and express everything that we have in mind as designers, but sometimes it's about seeing what the area and that lot and what the client wants and what the nature already shows us, and make it more vibrant and really value what's there already. And also, main thing, please talk to the experts. We don't have to know everything. There are people that really know about plants and they can help you. Sometimes it's one small talk, you just have a phone call. Sometimes you need more information, maybe a consultancy, but it's always important to talk to the experts. If you want to know what kind of vegetation is native to your place, because this is not really that black and white. I've seen that flower all my life in my grandma's house, and therefore it's native. It's not really like that, because we've been changing our environment very often, and some species are not native. They sometimes are not even adapted. They are spreading all around and killing other species, not allowing them, the native species, to develop as they should. But we see them every day, and we see them so often that we think they are native. So where can we find those species according to where we live? Can you show them that website, Felipe? Yeah, thank you. In this website, you can search for the zip code where you are or the country, and it will give you a list of plants, of animals that are native to your area, okay? So you can start your design just with that in mind. Of course, there are many more species than what they show there, but it's a good start, so you can have you can be more sure of what you should do and talk to your client. Okay. Can we maybe, well, all the links will be in your
in your summary.
Yeah, thank you. Um, so don't worry about that. The only thing that you should worry is to pay attention and in the right time get the password so you can get your summary, okay?
Yes. Oh, that's a good thing. One thing that we ask you guys, we're going to share with you lots of tools and perhaps some cool websites. If you could not access that website right now, like during the class, it's good because some websites, they are not, they don't manage well a high flow of people. So if everyone tries to access now, we won't be able to show you in class. So it's a good, a little class tip here for you guys is to, if you could wait a little bit to access the websites that we're sharing here, it would be really nice. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so what about if I don't have, or maybe if my client doesn't want all the native species that I am suggesting them? You can add adapted plants. Okay, so it's like a hierarchy that you should have in your mind in your design. So first native plants, and then if not possible, or if you want to make more diversity in your design, then you should go for adapted plants. Adapted plants are those that are not from there, but they are already used to that climate. They go well with the climate, with the sun exposure, the length of the daylight of the day and throughout the year, and also wind and rain regimes. So they won't require that many maintenance as well. They should be also resistant to insects and diseases. So, for example, in areas that are prone to mosquito diseases, just like malaria or dengue or so on, you should avoid those that keep water inside their leaves, or they have this proper environment for the mosquitoes to reproduce. So you should avoid that. And then select species that contribute to this diversity of the community. We don't want that green grass. We don't want that garden that it's only one species, okay? Because that is not diverse, and that doesn't allow the nature cycle to be not even restored, but also to be strengthened in that area, okay?
And let me just tell you something, Titi, just to open here. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, sure.
Some people, they asked about the native plants, right? We showed the website for the native plants, right, Finder. If you don't have this, in our country, we don't have this website available also, right? And what we do, let me put this bigger for you here. You can check your city hall environmental area, right? The environmental sector of your city hall. So we needed to develop some projects here in Brazil, and what we do, we go to the city hall and we say to them, okay, I want to understand this environmental sector. If you have a list of native plants or adaptive plants, and maybe your sector, you can have this. Think about this, guys. We are developing this content for all around the globe, so we are trying to make it the best for everyone. So if you don't have a resource that we are showing here, it's possible, right? But sometimes it's going to be worldwide, so you need to, of course, you need to adapt things considering your situation, okay? But go to the city hall, the environmental sector, you can ask for them. Usually they have tons of resources about this, okay?
And even if you just Google native plants with your country name, you already will find local websites, all right?
Yeah,
the important part is to understand what are the native plants on your region and how they are supported. And even sometimes, if you go to the city hall, they have already an agenda of what kind of plants they need in a certain area, or they don't need any more of those plants in certain areas, even though they are native. They must be, like we need to contribute to diversity of plants too. So it's a good thing to check with your city hall too.
Yeah, you can check the botanical gardens if you don't have the city hall, because we want to have something that is official, right? But maybe you don't have this information in your city hall, so you can go to a botanical garden and things like this. And people who deals with plants, usually they have great tips for you. Okay, it's very important, guys, to save water during this process. All right.
Yes, and as a last type of plant that you might be interested in adding your design is xeriscaping. What is xeriscaping? It's a way of landscape design that uses very little water. That means species that are used to the desert kind of climate. And that could be, for example, let's design for your Mars project as well. There's someone asking about what should Marion. That could be a landscape design for your Mars bases as well. But the thing is, yeah, xeriscaping are those species that use very little water. They are adapted to very dry climates. They are really low maintenance, but sometimes they won't give you all the things that you need from plants. So you might maybe want to add some vegetable garden, right? So, so if you are in a place that is dry, that you have a limitation for irrigation, maybe xeriscaping could be a really good alternative for landscape design. Okay.
Exactly. Xeriscaping, it's a good idea of reducing the amount of water needed, but not reducing the interest in a landscape. It's a very plural type of way to develop a landscape. So you can use different textures. You can use mulch. You can use grass. You can use the different plants, and you can create. Sometimes people think of xeriscaping when you say it doesn't use a lot of water. It's not a lush garden. It can be very colorful, and it can be very plural to develop xeriscaping landscape. It's really nice.
So, and this will also depend on the climate where you are designing. It will depend on the atmosphere that your client wants to have in the area, in the oh my God. Well, in the design, in the project, and it also depends on other site-specific things. For example, the type of soil. So again, you should always talk to an expert to know if what you are proposing is really feasible there. Okay, we don't have to know everything, but we have to talk to the right people. Okay, so I already mentioned vegetable gardens. This is something that if your client is interested in, is also a good way to add vegetation and to add nature to the project, because people get this direct contact with everything that the plants can offer us. Not only the view, but also to touch it, to taste it. So this is also very important. Okay. One thing that you should have in mind in indoor environment, if you are going to add plants to the indoor environment, please make sure that the indoor climate, mostly the moisture of the indoor area will not be enhanced if you don't want it to be enhanced. So if you are in a rainy climate, a very humid place, if you add vegetation in the indoor, it will be hard for you to control this humidity inside. Okay, it will be humid as well. So please make sure that you are adding it where it should be. If we are going to show you an example of a consultancy that we made. And one of the things that we told them is that if they wanted to add vegetation inside, they should choose one or two vase or pots of plants and keep the vegetation outside because it is a very humid place. Okay. I don't know if we can we show it. Show them now. Maybe, Felipe.
The report.
Or do you want me to show them from here?
I think it's better for you to show because there's a lot of pages, right?
Yes. Okay, let me just open
Guys,
here.
Yeah, cool. What you're thinking about the classes, guys? Please tell me in the chat. It's good to know your feedback, right? We want to know your feedback, and we are going to proceed now to the biophilic design approach itself, right? We are talking about plants because it's usually what people know about biophilic design. But now we are going to approach to things that usually people don't know, right? We are going to approach to the concept. It's not just plants. There are much more things that just plants, all right? All right, so Tiziana, it's zooming, right?
Yes, I just wanted you to see this is our biophilic design report that we made for a house in India. Mainly the city is Hyderabad, and the climate there can get really humid during summer. So this is something that when we approach the plants in there in this project, we talked to the client and told them, okay, vegetation is good, but we should make sure that it doesn't get more humid in place. Yes, please.
You should zoom your report. People.
No, I wasn't focusing on anything yet, so
right,
I didn't zoom in.
All right, no problem.
One thing that I just before you keep going with this, let me just make a quick. There are different people asking for like different purposes of plants or different places. One thing you should keep in mind when you're choosing plants and the type of landscape, it's the public that will attend. So if you're thinking of a kids in an elementary school, or if you're thinking of school in general, you should think of plants that can be touched, that are not very sensitive, and they are not poisonous. And that's a good start right there. We don't want kids to be being poisoned at school, and we know kids are curious, so they will touch or they will run through the landscape. So plants that are resistant and that are not toxic, that should be your main plan. If you're thinking about hospitals, if you're thinking about commercial spaces, then you're thinking of plants that do not create allergies. If you can research, that are some plants that they can't enhance respiratory diseases, and some of them, they are neutral to this, and they are fewer, but still there is certain kinds of plants that you could bring into those spaces. And when we're thinking about hospitals and commercial areas, usually you're thinking of a lot of people, so the potential to people for developing allergies, it's bigger. So thinking of the people that you were serving, who are going to use this space, who is going to use this space, and what kind of plants that I should serve to. So first, we'll think about native, and then we'll go there with your public in mind.
Yes, and I wanted just to show you that biophilic design is something very, it's a broad perspective in terms of nature in the space. So we're dealing with the contact with nature, with non-visual contact with nature, just what Sammy just said about smell and taste and whatever, and so on. About what happens sometimes in the space, and about other things that we are going to talk in a minute with you, okay? I just want to show you at the end so you can have a better idea of the project. It's taking a while here for my computer to... Okay, so this is the house. It's a one family house in Hyderabad, India. And they have this large site, so they had this possibility of having a good, a very wide garden, and they really took advantage of that. Okay, sometimes you don't have that much area, but the thing that is important here is diversity and density. And if you cannot add that many species to your garden because it's very small, maybe you should think about using vertical surfaces as well. Creepers, or maybe having some support there for pots, that you can have also not only the horizontal plane, but also the vertical planes with vegetation, okay? So this is only for you to have an idea of the design. Okay, so inside there are not really plants, as we mentioned, but we have a good view to the outside, to the garden. And I wanted to show you as well the landscape design that they added. So you have here, do you see the landscape design, or are you seeing only the report? You
We're
see the
seeing the
landscape
report.
design. The report?
We're seeing that. No, we're seeing the landscape design. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, you're showing the plants.
So you see that there is diversity, and one that the main things that this project already had when we did the consultancy was that at least 50% of the species are native to this area. Okay. And this is something really interesting. You see here lemon plants, Plumeria alba, and so on. Sometimes all of, as I mentioned, 50% at least were native. The other ones were adapted. But as a whole, you had areas in the garden with different purposes. So smell, touch, and they had a vegetable gardens, and they had a herb garden, so they could also taste it, and also the herbs also have good smell. So everything is connected, but also it helps people to notice nature. Okay, so this is something really interesting. Just as a curiosity, Plumeria alba, this one here with the yellow flowers, those flowers are edible. Okay, so if it's native to your area, you should also maybe think about adding. Okay. So we talked about plants, and again, it's about having nature, having plants next to your design. The kind of plants depends on your area. Okay, so biophilia is in general this proximity, being near to nature. Okay.
All right.
We can proceed to water, and then if we have some time, we can go with the representations at the end. Okay.
Yes. Well, since we touched on landscape, and we need to talk about this connection, not just to the idea of keeping this landscape. So irrigation. We're talking here about sustainable design. We're addressing towards biophilic design today. But sustainability in mind, you have to think of how am I going to maintain, what kind of need for water I need to keep this. Otherwise, you're bringing just maintenance and money. Because to keep a landscape beautiful, you need to invest on it, you need to take care of it, and then you have to think of how. First, we could save water by choosing the native plants. And if you are working with landscape indoors, then you should think about bringing irrigation, perhaps drip irrigation, or use of reusable water. The plants, they don't need potable water. The quality of the water, it's important just not to be very acidic, but or to have heavy metals, but you can reuse water, or you can capture rainwater and channel to these landscapes. So think about the use of irrigation with your mind thinking of saving water. The water cycle, it's infinite, but the way we use water is, we have to be very mindful, because we can pretty much ruin our existence if we don't have quality water to survive. That's the one thing that we have and we need to survive. But being careful with that, if you do have the possibility, and again, like TC mentioned at the beginning of her piece here in this class, sometimes interior designers will have the opportunity to work with that extended area of a living room, or that extended area outside in the patio. This is something that it's not constant, that will not happen very often with interior designers, but when you do have this opportunity, be mindful of the surfaces that you are bringing into this patio. If you are allowing water to go back into earth and to fulfill its cycle, if you are not using too much hard surfaces, or if the water does not have a place to drain off of the site. So this is something that usually we leave to the architects and engineers to think about, but we have to understand where are the permeable areas, and how much is the rain amount that we're getting into this site. Each location will be different, but you have to manage all the water that rains on your site to be managed on site. So if you can, to allow it to go back to earth, or if this runoff is going to happen to the city galleries, as an example, that it happens on a contained way, that you slow down the speed of the water going into these galleries, so you don't overflow and we don't cause floods. We have seen floods and lots of problems with this in different areas of the world that didn't have this problem. So how can you contribute in your design to reduce the possibility of floods? And this is one way, is to have a landscape or a hardscape design to absorb all the water that rains on your site. So any type of opportunities to infiltrate, it will be good. You can think of bioswales, rain gardens too. And if you have ponds, like TC showed, they do have ponds on this project that we just showed. This is a way to keep a view of the water, to keep the positive things that come with the water, but at the same time manage this water too. And the ponds, they can have this opportunities to either exchange water with the city gallery, where they will be just being kind of a filter tool before it goes into the rain, into the galleries, or they can just be this leveled, the way you level this water on site. So allow for infiltration, water infiltration into the landscape. Increase, we have to be careful too with the water, because when we have to retain the organic and increase the organic matter in the soil. So to allow for a landscape to be fulfilled, you need to have a good amount of nutrients in this. So the water retention will improve the capacity of maintaining this organic matter in the soil. You also have to be mindful of how you're going to deal with the water when you're using this as elements that are just there for you to observe or for you to listen to. In biophilic design, we use water to bring feelings of peace, of calming down, de-stressing. So when you are listening to the sounds of water, or when you are seeing water movement, it creates this feeling of tranquility, right? Water usually, when it's not in high velocity water or high speed, right? You will feel this. That's the feeling that you have. So if you are deciding to insert a water element into your design, this is how you should be thinking of this, creating these surrounding areas. One thing that it's crucial is to maintain the health of this water. When you have a pond, or when you have a open aquarium, when you have a pool, you also have the potential to create bacteria, or to create different problems that you are not that you don't want to bring, because it could be a good positive thing to your health, but it also can bring elements that will compromise your health. Especially in hospitals, you should be very mindful of where to insert water elements. Uh, Preference is to not insert elements that are open into the air, because they can contaminate the air very easily. Even if because of the water splash or the water movement, the evapotranspiration of this water, you can contaminate the air if the water has contaminants or has bacteria or problems with the maintenance. So think about how you're treating this water, a maintenance cycle for this water, and where you are inserting these elements. It's very, very good to understand that natural swimming pools or water features are intended for human contact, but then this needs to be done in a very secure level. And if people are touching the water, the questions about maintenance and being very careful with the quality of the water, then it's even higher. So think about the additional treatments that you need to bring to keep this element very, how should I say, healthy. I think though the health of the water is important for you to keep the health of the people. So this is what we have.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. So what kind of like different features, like water features, like we can bring swimming pools, we can bring reflecting pools, and we can bring fish ponds, all within this basic care to introduce these elements. Go ahead.
Just a quick addition here. You don't have to have it in the outside, as I mentioned. If you can, for example, you can have it inside if the climate allows you to, the indoor climate allows you to. So we are giving you examples of gardens, but it can be also in the inside of the building.
Mm-hmm. I think if we can show like a little bit of the landscape, how they had the water features too, it'd be nice.
Just a second here.
If you can share.
Yes.
Yes. So in the biophilic design, the water plays this element of where you are bringing, what kind of like senses that you are stimulating with the water. So we have sounds, we have touch, and we have the view of this water. So when you listen to the sounds of the water, you are bringing this feeling of peacefulness. You are bringing this feeling of deaccelerating. To touch the water, like thinking of ask any child, like what kind of feeling they have when they have this connection with the water.
Yeah, just to show them really quickly, so we can move on. Yes. Here you see in the upper right side of the floor plan, we have a swimming pool. So every time anyone will swim, you can hear the water. Here in the bottom part, we have a reflective pool, and when the sun comes from the east, it will reflect light inside the house. And here we have a fish pond, okay? So it does bring some additional characteristic to the place. But this reflective pool here is what brings most to the indoor environment because it reflects light to the indoor. Okay.
Yes. When we have the opportunity to reflect light, we have that spiritual effect. So it's more preferable to have these elements and bring this kind of feelings. This is like the spiritual effect that it will have. So a lot of people will prefer some views of water rather than vegetation sometimes. Ask your client. In the urban context, it's harder for you to deal with the water elements, but we're thinking about interiors here. So having an aquarium, having this little ponds, it's something that you usually could come into contact talking about interior design. Water is something that holds people interest. It can be a focal point. You can create this. But dirty water, it creates a feeling of repel. So again, think about the quality of the water. You don't want growth of algae. You need a filtration equipment. Be careful and be mindful of the air, the quality of the air, interior humidity, because moisture does damage your interior spaces, and especially some materials are more susceptible. So when you're thinking about interiors, you are responsible for the maintenance of these materials too. And when you are bringing an element that you have to keep with a filtration or a pump, or like some aquariums, be mindful of energy consumption. Fish ponds and something that you introduce some live animals, then you have to think of mineral deposits, the insects that can be depositing eggs in this water, creating diseases too. So maintenance. If you are bringing water, you are bringing maintenance. So it's a very interesting element to bring indoors, but it's something that you need to be very careful. Again, talk to an expert and be mindful of what kind of strategies that you are using. Okay. So I guess this is it for water now. And since we're talking about fish and all sorts of animals, maybe Felipe can talk a little bit about animals.
Yeah. All right, guys. How are you guys doing? Are you fine? I just want to know if you guys are safe, if you guys are fine. We have a hashtag. We call this hashtag Green Hero Rise because we want this green heroes to rise all around the globe, right? This is our movement. So if you are achieving great results, you can talk with us, Green Hero Rise. I'm learning. I'm thinking the class is good. I'm looking for tons of good things. It's very cool to know about your results during this course. We are going to ask you a lot of times. In the beginning, you can say much, but in the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day is going to be
You will
amazing.
get the big picture, right?
Right, exactly. Guys,
Somebody says biophilic design is for human satisfaction, not really sustainability. Actually, we have to think of sustainability in the social content. And when you think about the health of the people and the wellness of the people, yes, you're thinking about sustainability. Absolutely. Sustainability is not just environmental, it's people, environment, and profit. So we have to think about all the three. We don't want something here that it's missing one context. We can't eliminate people from sustainability.
yeah. Guys, so now we are going to talk about animals on biophilic design, right? You have a dog, maybe, or a cat, or a plant, or something like this, but we know that animals can bring fish, right? Plants are not animals, as we know, but animals brings a good feeling for us, right? As everyone knows. So satisfaction, pleasure, stimulation, and emotional interest, right? Stimulation, emotional interest. So it's very good to have animals in our places. And when we are talking about biophilic design, we are not just talking about animals. Okay, you can have a cat moving around your house. It's going to be biophilic. Yes, it's going to be actually, but you can have animals representations on your design, right? Maybe you can have a wall with a picture of, an eagle or something like it, or cat or a dog. So have these representations on a wall. You don't need to have the accurate thing, right? You just need to have maybe the profile, just a black, right, drawn eagle in your wall. You are going to bring biophilic, right, things. You are going to bring this to your right to your your brain, right? It's going to be very important because we as human beings, we have this very cool thing that we can see forms and we can understand things behind the form. So if you see a representation of an eagle, you understand there is an eagle, so it's going to be good for you. You understand things. Even a plant, if you see a representation of this plant, it's going to be good for you as well, right? So when we are talking about interior design, now shifting more for this idea of interior design, we can see some things very cool, right? You can have an aquarium maybe in your place, as we saw, as we talked, right? The walls, representation on walls. You can see some, let's say, some aviaries, right? Aviaries. It's more difficult, right? I don't like the idea to keep animals caged and things like this, but it increases the biophilic design aspect. I don't like this idea, but it's a strategy that you can use. I'm just showing you the stretches here. And when we are talking about workplaces, maybe you have a workplace and you want to have this place more uh, right, more biophilic design friendly. So you can do these strategies as well, right? So maybe this workspace can allow a pet, right? Maybe a fish in this place. You can grow a lot of this aspect. And why it's important for workplace areas, because it increases productivity, it increases well-being. People want to be working in these spaces. They are not sad working in this space. So it's very cool to understand about this. So we can have this representation, right? These visual representations. You can have sound as well. So sound, as you can see, animals, right? They emit kind of sound. So sounds from birds, it's very cool. Sounds from insects. You can have maybe pets nearby, right? It's going to be cool for you as well. And it's a great strategy, right? To have the sound of these animals. Actually, when we have the sound of water, when we have sound of leaves, right, during a wind, it's going to increase this biophilic design aspect. Let think about this. You are studying inside a space and you are hearing these things outside, you see the change, right? You see the time movement, you see that are things happening outside, you see maybe the light outside. All of these aspects, they are going to reinforce your circadian rhythm and is going to improve your well-being overall, right? Because you understand that are things happening outside, you become part of the nature, part of this movement that is happening. You are not just a person inside a white area, right? A white space without windows and things like this. It's not good for health during a long term. You're going to lose your circadian rhythm, and we have lots of biological elements inside our stomach, right? When it's time for lunch, we know because we see the sun, our brain knows, okay, sun, it's like this. So I start to have some enzymes in my stomach, so it's time for lunch. But if you don't have this, your body starts to produce things kind of randomly, and it's not good for health. Of course, if you are sleeping, it's the same thing. You are sleeping, you have light in your space. When you are sleeping, it's not cool because you are going to be more awake, because it's not natural to have light when people are sleeping. We developed our body for thousands and thousands of years, right? And So a light outside is not cool. So we need to respect our human composition. This is the way that biophilic design, it's very important, right? Then we need to understand about one strategy. When we talk about biophilic design, it's important to take care about bird collision, right? Let me just talk about this bird collision, because maybe depending on the space you are, maybe you have times of bird collisions, and can be bad when you are using animals inside your space. I have two types here of bird collisions today, right? We have two types of bird collisions. We have bird collisions during the day and during the night as well. So this strategy, strategy that I'm going to show is going to avoid these effects that can happen here, right? So during the day, we can have maybe this very, right? We have you can see this glazing here, right? This really a mirror, right? So for birds, they can just fly here and they can die doing this when they are flying in a space like this, because they are seeing lots of, right, lots of trees, so it's not cool. And this effect is usually the kind of similar, but is usually when it's very transparent. So they think this is a transparent window, right? Everyone once in their lives they went into a transparent window. I did when I was very young, maybe you as well. So you need to overcome this, because birds, they of course they get a very high velocity, and it can be very bad. This is kind of a beacon, right? Depending on the beacon, you have lots of light, unwanted light inside your space. It can be bad for birds during the night. And spaces like this, right? They can see a refuge on this. So they want to, right? They want to seek a refuge. So it's not cool, right, to have a place like this. So you have some strategies to avoid this bird collision problems, right? Let me just give this for you so you can understand this. This is one way that we can do things. We can maybe use glazing with this very small dots, right? You can use dots, you can use other patterns. I have other pattern here to show. It's cool to know about this, right? It's very important to understand, right? This pattern like this, you can use a pattern like this, you're going to avoid problems. So this is one strategy that you can use this patterns inside your space. Maybe.
Felipe, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but your microphone, it seems to be muffled a little.
All right, it's better now.
Yes, a lot better.
Thank you. All right, let's proceed. So we have this type of strategy here, right? You can use maybe glazing with this dots. When we talk about sustainable design as a whole, sorry?
No, I was just going to say, sometimes you did not specify the glass, but you can mitigate the problem of somebody else.
Yeah. When we talk about sustainable design, of course, we are not that people who loves glazing, because we understand that we need to look for lots of things before starting and a beauty envelope, right? But we are not going to focus on this event. But this is a strategy that you can use. Maybe you can turn lights off in work hours, right? Let's say off work hours, right? You left your space, you have lots of glazing in this space, you can turn this off so birds won't seek this refuge, right? So this is a thing that you can do. Maybe you can also have a better design on your project, right? Not I won't say better, but a different that doesn't use that amount of glazing, this big amount of glazing. Maybe you can mix things, and of course, birds, they are going to see, they are going to take knowledge of this different patterns, so they are not going to go there in high velocity. So this is a good way that you can use. Maybe you can change angles of the glazing as well. If you put the glazing this way, maybe they can't, they will see that there is something different as well. So it's good for them. So you can have tons of strategies to use, right? And when we talk about animals, of course, we can, of course, overcome light pollution, right? Well, light pollution is this is the I have some types of lamps that I wanted to show you here, just to get this for you very quickly. And we have tons of lamps that we disencourage to use and lamps that we encourage, and this can be good for right, disencourage and acceptable. And usually this unacceptable, disencouraged type of lamps, they will have something in common. They are going to emit light not just downwards but upwards as well, right? And this is not cool. We need to overcome this problem. We don't need light upward. There is nothing, people don't fly, so we don't need this, right? We need just light to this, right? It's simple like this. It's very simple. It's very stupid when you think about this, but lots of lighting projects, they don't have this idea, right? We need to just light what we need, right? We just need to use light on what's important. And when we talk about this, we are not just talking about birds and collision. We are talking about reducing lighting density, save energy. It's very important for sustainable design as well, right? To remove light pollution. People can sleep better as well, right? Because let's say if you are doing this, maybe you have a person, right? You have a building and you have a person is sleeping here, right? This person is sleeping, and this unwanted light is going to make problems for these people, right? So we don't want this. So this is another strategy that we can use, okay? And this is our good ideas that you can use to when you are using animals. So we are talking about biophilic design. You understood. You need to use animals. You can use animals. It's an option, right? Biophilic design, you have, it's like music. You have tons and tons of strategy. We have 60 strategies in total, but use animals is a good strategy, but you need to use wisely. And that's what we wanted to show you. Okay.
One thing that you said about using animals wisely is be mindful of, again, the people that you are working with. Some people are very, if you're using a statue or something like that, it's less offensive or invasive to more people than if you're using animal prints, perhaps, or if you're using actual the animals scans or something like that. Not many people would be thinking of that as very positive. So be careful how you introduce animal prints or how you introduce animals in a way that you view them. Try to be very positive about this. It's not just putting like some like bear rug there that it's called biophilic design. Okay, so you have to, right, to see. I saw your face.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry.
Yes, you know, some drawings, some paintings. So those are kind of like successful introductions to animals, to have this animal connection. Or like Felipe says, you know, just to allow them to be nearby would be something cool. All right, so moving on. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to make this bridge between the themes that we are talking about everything nature, right? Biophilia in the built environment. So it's not only about plants, but also animals, water, and now the air, right?
Yes, we're going to talk about the air, and the air is an important factor for us human beings too, and for our health. So the air exchange factor and the level of CO2 and humidity, so air control is very important, and to protect our environment from air pollution too. So these are the factors that can create the sick building syndrome. You know, having microbial air pollution, having high humidity or uncontrolled CO2 levels, all this can create the sick building syndrome. Especially in certain countries, we know that the amount of operable windows, some commercial buildings don't have operable windows, and in even some residences, they do have operable windows, but they don't use operable windows. I lived in the US for a long time, for 12 years, and in Florida, many people depend on air conditioning. They prefer to ignore that they have operable windows and that they can have this air exchange, and they rely only on air conditioning exchange. So this can create lots of irritations, allergies, headaches, low performance of the people inside this indoor environment. So think about how you can measure, first of all, measure and have proper air exchange and air filtration for the amount of people that you are designing for. Filters that are for this kind of purposes. You have a different air conditioning filter for hospitals. You have a different level for schools. You have different levels for commercial buildings and for residential area, and scheduled maintenance. It is your responsibility to create a scheduled maintenance. No, you are the interior designer, but it is your responsibility to make your client aware of the type of system that you are installing, the type of filter, and how much he is going to spend, and when is going to be needed this exchange. If you are not the air conditioning expert, then you need to talk to an expert and give proper instruction to the people that are going to inhabit that interior space. Whenever and always, we will prefer natural ventilation. We've been through a pandemic, and we know now how high is important to keep air in movement and natural air in movement to refresh this air. So we working with sustainability, we already knew the value, but now the amount of people that know the value of exchanging air or having the control of air quality indoors, how much it's important and how fast this can create a big problem. Now having this pandemic, this coronavirus among us, we know this in a more practical way, and it's not just us saying, it's being proven. We have tons of studies showing the levels of air pollution and how people get infected indoors by different things. So Felipe has, it's putting there how, when and how windows should be open. So think about understanding the way the environment that you are designing for works. Understanding if there are hours of higher air pollution. Yes, just like the plants that you can find for your local area, you can also find data about the air quality and what are the times where air pollution is higher. When the times of air pollution is higher, then you should close windows. And when the air is lighter, let's say, then you should open. When there's too much outdoor humidity, then you need to control humidity indoors, because materials can deteriorate, or you can create problems with mold and mildew on the walls or behind your furniture. And also the cloth of your furniture can also stain moisture. And this can also create fungus and different problems in the furniture. So control the humidity. It's not just for our own health, for direct respiratory health, but also for what we're going to keep with the air quality. And if we keep the problems indoor, then we perpetuate this problem, right? If we have mildew and mold on our walls or behind furnitures or damp furniture, then it doesn't matter if we circulate the air, then as soon as we close windows, we still have the problem there. How do we kill mildew and mold is natural air, lots of air circulation and sun. So allow for the natural light to come in too. So we are going to say, when do we want the windows open then? When we want to dilute indoor pollution, when we have the buildup of humidity, we want to exchange this air, connect with nature and sounds. The air throughout the day will have different smells, will have different speed. So this also allows us or allows our body to understand the passage of the day. So these different smells, they enhance our awareness too. This seems to be a very subtle change in the day. There's a different things that will bring us awareness and change our focus, or even enhance our focus, because this stale air, when we have this air that it's too concentrated, or you don't have air exchange, it's too controlled in a way that it's you don't have air movement and the temperature is constant, we tend to lose our focus and go to sleep, or our brain loses potential for activity. So natural air, and also you will be saving with energy too. You will be saving with your air conditioning, but it will bring you more awareness. So this is our connection to nature within relation to air. When the natural ventilation it's not possible, then we have to think about controlling air renovation, and the elements and the systems that you are bringing, they have to be very energy conscious. How are we using this? What kind of temperature that we are, the difference in temperature between indoors and outdoors, how are we, this is, you can do with simulation, and you can understand the better system for your air conditioning, and also the temperatures that they should be set. Because when you are fighting too much against the outdoor climate, you of course are enhancing also your use of energy. And as with the mechanical ventilation, you can also have, there are some systems that they just use, that they are not air conditioning systems, but they are natural ventilation systems with that use this mechanical parts just to allow every once in a while through the roof, you can have this exchange of natural air and clean air. So consider also if you need to, when you don't have the possibility of natural ventilation, air purifiers. This is something, this is always adding something to the system, as you can see. Also, natural air is the best opportunity for you to use this renovation and to purify the air. But if you don't have this opportunity and you depend on systems, understand, you see how not having operable windows or having a different air, natural air ventilation system, even if through the roof, you will enhance the amount of money that you are spending, the amount of energy that you are demanding from the environment and your resources. And this can create a problem for sustainability and for the energy efficiency of your building. This is a theme that a lot of people talk about, and we love to debunk this when people say bringing plants indoor will create air filtration or will enhance the quality of the air. TC, I'm going to leave this one up to you because this is something that we need very specific numbers. Plants, they need quantity to impact air quality. And if you are thinking about using the plants as a filtration system, be ready to live in a jungle indoors, right?
Yes, people usually make reference to a study from NASA about it. But the thing is, they tested a very small volume of space that did not exchange the air with the outdoors. So the plants could treat all that air inside without any addition of volatile organic compounds. So the thing is, we don't live like that. Okay. So there's a research that was published in Nature a few years ago that they made a critic on that study, saying that people should not try to reproduce that only by adding plants because they don't perform as well in an open area. Okay, so you will need, as Sammy said, a jungle to have the same effect. Okay.
Yes, because even in controlled areas, even when you don't have outdoor connection through windows or anything like that, eventually you open doors, you have air leakage. So you don't have enough to exchange and keep the quality of the air, but you have enough to pollute the air, to bring pollutants indoors, and the plants will not take care of that. What the study with NASA, it was a sealed, contained space. So then you have total control, no air leakage or exchange.
All right, guys.
We don't have that.
So I just want to know what you guys are learning on this class. Please tell me in the chat. I'm here to wake people up. I'm the intern of the company that write things and scream sometimes to wake people up. Are you guys learning so far? What you guys are learning? Are you learning something? We want to know. It's great to know your feedback of this. Cool. People are enjoying. We are doing good things here. So guys, just to tell one thing, in the end of the class, you have the opportunity to get the summary of this class. You'll have this opportunity, right? Almost 8,000 people live here. Outstanding to see everyone live. So you can have the opportunity to get the summaries in the end, okay? So don't be lots of people talking about this. And one more thing, we are going to shift now for sun and daylight, right? So
yes, since we talked about natural air, let's talk about natural light now.
Yeah, we are going to make this change because you are getting lots of this biophilic design strategies and its appliance, how you can make it good, not just use the strategy, but some deep knowledge behind this as well, right? So we are going to shift for light. Thank you guys for all the feedback. All right, we can proceed.
Okay, so you got a space, you have to design the layout. It's important that you know where the sun comes from and where people are going to use more daylight. They need to use more daylight, right? It could be a residence or it could be a working space. So you should always think about, do they need direct light? They will if it is a residence, and they won't if it's a working place. Unless it's a common area, the coffee area or the lobby, that places can have direct sunlight. But usually in working areas, you don't want it. You want only daylight, okay? And then it's important that you know that, so you don't design the layout of the space in order to make people feel uncomfortable. For example, the computer screens, they should not face a window and they should not be in the opposite direction. How can I say that? You should always be, the windows should always be on your side, not in front of you and not to the back, because in front of you, it will be a lot of light. You can have the glaring effect. And behind you, it might reflect in the computer screen. Okay, so it's important that we understand that. Usually, what comes with interior design is the specification of curtains and blinds. It's important. Sometimes that's the way that you control too much light, but you have to be aware that depending on how you position people in the space, they might keep the curtain and the blinds closed for longer. So it's important that you allow daylight in, that you understand how it happens throughout the day and the year, so that people can have the most of daylight and the least of artificial light. Okay? 2 reasons. Daylight is preferable comparing to artificial light. People overall, they prefer daylight. It also enhances people comfort. The mood gets better. It's healthy, and it also increases productivity. Okay, so it's not just a design choice, but also something that changes our the psychological state of people, and we don't want to disturb that. Also, it helps the physiological functions. If you have good daylight levels during the day, you will sleep better and you will perform better the next day. So we should not take this for granted. Okay, think about the daylight, think about the sun direction, so you can position people in a way that they don't close the window, they don't close the blinds and the curtains, okay? Only when and during the time that is necessary.
Savings, 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 savings. When we use natural light to our advantage, right?
Yeah, right. And then we go to natural materials, right, Sammy?
Yes, let's think about your influence now with natural materials. People prefer natural colors. So when we're thinking about natural patterns or natural materials, this also enhances our awareness, our liking for this environment. So here is an image that it's actually an image from outdoors, but it was a very nice study. The effect that we have when we eliminate natural patterns and colors from the Barcelona pavilion from Ms. van der Hoor.
If you go to the website, it also has images from the inside. So
yes, the indoors image. Felipe is posting that one. Are you going to open the website, Felipe, or should I?
I will do whatever you want to, guys. I'm just the intern.
You are the man.
I don't interpret. I don't make questions. I just work here.
Yes,
right?
But it's really cool to compare, right? We need to compare, like when we do have this connection with the natural patterns and we take it away. Natural patterns can come in the form of stones. It can come in the form of plants, prints, colors that are found in nature, textures that are found in nature. And sometimes you have the opportunity of also bringing some different drawings that will represent nature too. But the natural materials that we're talking about is actually to have, let's say, cork or bamboo, or having rammed earth, like a wall that it's rammed earth, that has all those textures, those colors, and you can see imperfection and you can see perfection too. So stay with the natural colors. The use of blue, purples, and grays, they usually cause people to feel sad. So this is also something that you need to keep in mind, is environment that I'm planning for, what kind of stimuli am I bringing to these people using this color. So earthy colors will be preferable. Natural patterns representations would be preferable. And these are studies that you can find within many biophilic design researchers. There are extensive studies talking about people looking at those colors and feeling better and performing better at work, at school, especially at school, when kids have this connection with colors. Use this to your advantage. So biophilic design is also using this pattern, this materials, this natural materials for you to work.
But just to give the context of this comparison of the website that Felipe showed you, the thing is, when we look at both pictures, we notice that there is a strong contribution of natural materials and natural patterns to enhance the value and the satisfaction with minimalistic design. So when you have straight lines, when you have very minimal indoor spaces, the way to enhance biophilic design is first by bringing nature in, plants, animals, and so on that we already mentioned, here water too, but also with natural materials. And when we see the other picture, when they covered the original materials, we see that it becomes arid, it becomes very sterile. And the feeling that you have is something really unpersonal. So the thing that's the effect that natural material brings to the indoor environment. And it doesn't have to be extracted from nature. It could be a representation, as Sammy said, when we think about sustainability.
Use materials that are local, create this culture connection with local materials. Be mindful of sustainable materials that are to represent here. I would highly recommend a wooden panel as natural materials, but I would not recommend a wooden panel that comes from a forest that is illegally grown. So researching, and we're going to talk about materials on day 4. So hold on to your horses here on the comments. When I talk about the sustainability of materials, we will go deeply into this. But think about when you choose materials, think about their where they're coming from. So materials can create mood, they can create culture connection, and they can create this natural awareness in our brain. This natural stimulate in our brain to respond to the environment. Our eyes, they see more green than any other color. So green is a color that it's pleasant to our eyes. Also, the idea of, like Tisa says, representing materials. Sometimes you don't have to use natural stone. You can use perhaps the porcelain tile to represent natural stones. All right.
All right, we can proceed.
Right. Sammy already talked about the colors. They have indeed a strong psychological effect on us, but it depends on where you are putting those colors. Overall, as a rule of thumb in biophilic design, the theory says that people they feel more satisfied with muted tones, because in nature we don't find bright colors of very large areas with flat bright colors. We usually have a combination of muted tones and sometimes some details in bright colors. So this is something that if we observe nature, we can apply those proportions and those relationships between those colors in the built environment as well. Something that I really want you to be cautious about is on the meaning of the colors, okay? There is a lot of things, a lot of websites in the internet that you see that people give meaning to colors, but it depends on the context, on the context, and it depends on where you live. Let's give an example. Yellow, it represents warmth and joy, but only in countries where it away from the equator and where you don't have that many sunlight as you do around the equator. Okay, so in those areas, sun is good. People want sun to come in. So yellow represents that for them. But there is a research that shows that they made a research in 55 countries. And one really cool example is that in Egypt, I'm just quoting them. In Egypt, they say that yellow is related to death, to feeling unwell, to diseases, and to fear, because it's related to for example, the yellowish tone of the skin when people get sick. And it's also related to some of the phrases that people use locally to say that something is not quite well. So this is not something that you should apply to the whole world. Okay, so careful with that.
Culture, right? Understanding the culture.
Exactly. And then there is a really cool approach from neuroscience. They have been studying how people respond to color, but not in a psychological way, rather in a physiological way. So they analyze the brain activity and how people feel with brain waves. So there is no filter when people interpret the colors, okay? So it's very direct to how people feel in a physiological way. So there are three main emotions that people feel. The first one is arousal, so you feel the energy, you feel focused, you feel this cognitive energy, and you might feel stress response as well. Then there is pleasure, when you feel good or you feel bad. And then there is control. So when you have more control, you feel safe. When you are not in control of the situation in the environment, you feel more insecure. And the combination of those three emotions also give you some feelings in the environment. For example, if I am aroused and in control, I feel focused and confident. But if I'm not feeling good, I might feel really stressed and pressed about it. Okay, and colors can change the way we feel in the environment in that way. So the first image that Felipe put in the summary with all the colors is these are the wavelengths of the daylight, that the light that reaches our eyes, and how we interpret it in terms of colors. And then we see that we feel less focused and less stressed and less energized in the blue area of the spectrum. Okay, so if there is blue, we feel less focused, less energized, less aroused. At the same time, if we are feeling good and in control of the environment, we will feel less stress and also in peace in that place. Okay. And when we go to the red part of the spectrum, we get a little, all those emotions, they get more together. So we have more energy when we are in a warm place where there is tones of red and yellow. Okay, so this is a physiological response to color. We're not thinking about the meaning of colors. Okay. And also the level of light of the space, which are what we see, for example, when everything is gray, we have different. Think about a colorless movie. You have this difference of lights from gray, from white to black, and this also gives us a different perception, not perception, but a different response to the environment. So when it's more light, we feel more in control and we feel less stressed, and also it gives us a good feeling about it because we control more the environment. And the worst thing that you can get is the medium gray, around 60%, because this is when you have higher arousal, so you're more stressed, more focused, less in control, so you're more insecure with the space, and feeling less good about it. So if you can choose, please don't choose the middle gray, okay? Because this is why people always said, oh, okay, it can get depressing. It's because you don't feel that good, you feel more insecure, and also you feel more stressed about the environment, okay? So this is physiological response.
And let me quickly just add something here. When we're talking about colors here, and a lot of people making connection with energy savings and cooling spaces with the colors. Lighter colors are going to give you that. They're going to help you with artificial lighting control for you to actually expand the enhancement of this artificial light. You will also have, yes, the possibility of cooling spaces with lighter colors. But when we talk about the different tones of colors here, it's not like if we talk about the red or if we talk about the yellow or green, we're not talking about like using everything, but be mindful that these accent colors, to use this in accent elements. And as interior designers, you have the opportunity of using accent a lot, sometimes even more than the whole space, right? Or the whole color of the space. Sometimes you have more opportunities to have your take in the details. So when we talk about natural materials and and this type of colors that TC is talking about, and nature's representation into the elements that you can introduce to the cloth, to the paper, to the wallpaper, or perhaps a rug or something that will enhance the mood of this environment. So if we say green, we're not saying like paint the entire room green. Designing is a connection with all the elements. So as we go through biophilic design, as you can see, we talk about air quality, and this has connection with air conditioning and lighting, energy. When we talk about natural light, we have the connection with artificial light and energy efficiency. So all these things, they connect together. So we are focusing on biophilic design for you to think about sustainability using the right elements that will also create this psychological effect. So if you are designing with sustainability, use other elements that you can hit more points, and you can enhance the health of people. So we're connecting here environment and people. All right.
Yeah, and as Sammy said, hold your horses. We're going to talk about surface reflectances on the last day when we talk about lighting, okay?
We're going to talk about lighting. We're going to talk about air. We're going to go through other sustainable environment elements that here they kind of touch with biophilic design, but we're not going to create a class on every topic. Otherwise, we'll be here forever.
All right, my turn. I will talk a little bit so the girls can rest a little bit. Now I will talk about something very important: the age, the change, and the pattern of time. What is this? Is the idea? It's very, very, very simple. Is the idea that when you are using elements on internal surfaces that is going to get old, right? During the time, you will get this biophilic effect is that, okay, things are getting older. And when you see this passing of time, you are going to connect with this like, I'm part of the nature, I am a part of something. And this passage of time is, you can connect this with historical connection as well. Let's say you are seeing a very new building and a very old building at the same time. So you think, okay, it passed a lot of time here. This building is here before me. So you get your place in the planet, right? You understand that you are part of the nature and you are not the only snowflake in the world. So this is the idea. You become more connected with the whole, and this is a very cool strategy. So I have two examples, right? We have this. This is kind of a velvet, right? This get old during the time, but I usually more like this wood effect, something like this. And not just about the wood, but it's about the pattern as well, right? We have some patterns that's going to bring additional benefits for your project. So it's a good idea to have, because think about this. People are having a lunch, they are talking, and usually this kind of things, they get your subconscious attention, and your brain is processing these things. It's outstanding. Actually, I'm talking here to the camera, and beyond the camera, I have a pattern like this. So I'm always watching the camera, and my subconscious is processing things. But in this place here, I have a very we don't have any patterns, so I just look at this. It's a gray pattern. A gray is not a pattern, right? It's just gray, and it doesn't bring me anything. It's cool to be processing things in your subconscious. Is not, of course, you don't want to have something very stressful, but it's a very cool strategy that you can use. Okay, so these two elements is very cool for you to use. And of course, you can have some representations of nature in patterns as well. So let me just write this for you very quickly here. Representations of nature, right? So this is another strategy that you can use. It's very simple, but very beneficial if you can use this. I will just put this as a very important thing on my summary here, so you can get the summary later. I love to make this cool for you, right? A very summary that you can use. I don't want to have this messy or something. So we have some representations of nature in patterns, as this is a thing that you can use as well. Let me I got 3 patterns here for you that you can take a look at. This is another strategy that you can use on biophilic design. I will just collect this, and you can see the pictures and try to understand about these patterns that I'm talking about. And I will get the last one. This is a very cool. It's not that related to interior design, but maybe you can use this. All right. Yeah, now I have this. So these 3 patterns are cool for you to use in your projects. Of course, we have tons of others. And then you have this, right? As you can see, some patterns that you can use in your projects. This is a strategy that you could use as well. We call this strategy this inside out, right? Maybe we could put more outside the project, these patterns here. Let's say I will use something like it, and right, use these patterns outside. It's cool to have this relationship between internal and external with and that additional benefit that you can use in your biophilic design. But this is very cool, these patterns that you can use. Okay, and other thing that you can use is fire, right? Of course, fire is something that you need to be very careful. Of course, right? You don't want to consume your building on fire, but it's a strategy that you can use.
Yes, you have to be very mindful with fire, because a combustion indoors can compromise air quality too.
I got
So
to the I got to the
fire should
summary
be in a
limit.
controlled manner, like having a fireplace or lighting some candles. Then you have to renew that air. Okay, be very careful with that because combustion can compromise air quality.
Yeah. Don't put your house on fire and blame me later, okay? I'm telling you to be careful about this, but this is a strategy that you can use on biophilic design because you are bringing a nature effect. So I just wanted to talk very quickly. It's very easy to understand this concept, but it's a thing that we couldn't remove from this content for you, okay? So maybe you can use this in a internal exterior area, right? Like a fireplace or something like it. Or maybe you can use a fire representation as well, right? You can use this as a fire representation. So this is an idea. You can use this. Of course, you can use a fireplace inside your building as well. It's a satisfying presence, right? You see the fire moving. So it's a thing that you are talking to a friend and seeing this fire moving. It's a thing that is cool for your mind as well, right? All right, so now we need to talk about views, some views strategies, right?
Well, with when it comes to views, we kind of touched a little bit already in a different parts of the presentation, but basically, we don't want to feel confined. We want to look at outdoors. So if
Yeah,
you are, when you are planning your interior designs, plan for you to have a direct view to the outdoors. Try not to create too many layers that would create barriers for people to look to the exterior. So allow them to not have an overly restricted view. If you have the possibility of having this open view, it's even better. But like at least, you know, have um, not to create possibilities or placing at, like TC talked about, how you place your desk or how you place a place where you're going to work towards the window will make you want to close the blinds and you will close yourself to the outdoors. So allow yourself to think of views and open views. And more people, the more people you have indoors with views to the outside, the better. So even if they are deeper inside the environment, then they should have the possibility to look beyond and see outdoors. This also creates the possibility of regaining focus. That's the kind of positive distraction that we can bring, is to have views of outdoors, to the movement, to the spaces, the city movement. This also creates great opportunities. If you have a wall outside that you have to deal with, or people are looking at a wall because the neighbors have a big wall, how can you make this wall interesting for people? Perhaps bringing patterns, or even a green wall, or having plants, something that can create distraction. If you put 2 or 3 pots of plants hanging on this wall, you will bring nature to it. A butterfly will come every once in a while. This kind of positive distractions that we could have looking at outdoors, and created this forced environment that it's not natural. People are not very good with unfamiliar things. So if you are looking to the outdoors, that you should recognize things there. Out of scale proportions, if it's too large or too high, you don't have the same effect and impact in people. They need to see themselves in this environment. They need to be part of the scale of the environment and the city. So when you are way too high up in a building, let's say you are in Abu Dhabi and you have like how many floors up in the air? That won't
Infinite.
have infinite floors in the air, right? Because they are like really going up there trying to reach the moon with a building. But anyways, that kind of effect, it takes people out of the scale, of the perspective of scale, of city scale. So this kind of does not bring the same effect for people. And we have this European standard that it's the number 13037 from 2019. Actually, the first version was 2018, and the
17.
version.
Sorry,
17 was the first one?
37.
Oh, okay.
You said 13.
This is the third version then. So this is a standard that will talk about daylight in views. It will create you the best strategies, best design strategies to provide to your clients a good amount of daylight in views, and the techniques and strategies that you could research in these standards are very cool. Basically, what they say is that you have to have 3 layers of views. You have to have sky, you have to see the landscape and the ground. So, like usually if you are outdoors at a person's eye level, you will be able to see that. You will be able to see ground, you will be able to see the middle area of the environment with the landscape and the sky. So if you can provide that kind of a frame of view to the people, this is the best outcome that you could have with these strategies.
Yeah. Everything we need is on the ground.
Everything you need.
It's
Yes.
a song. I don't know if people know this song. It's a new song, actually. The song is like, yeah, I need to sing a song, I think, to make people happy, laugh at my face. So I will do this now. This song is like this. I worked my whole life just to get high, just to realize everything I need is on the ground. I don't know. Let's see if people know. Yeah, people know this song. On the ground. Yeah, we always have a bad song during a class, guys. So this is the best song for today. Thank you.
Today we were trying to focus on the content, but trust me, in the following days, we promise you bad jokes. We promise you attitude songs and also pop culture inside sustainable design. So stay tuned.
Yeah, last week,
bring them all.
Last week I was seeing Blackpink the movie. I saw it with my kids. I love to learn new music with my kids. Now I'm into BTS and Blackpink. I know all Blackpink songs. You can make a Blackpink challenge after this event. I will win every one of you. All right, let's proceed.
Let's proceed. So how can we do this using views? So we can use the outdoors into our advantage. We can frame these views and use them, not just use natural elements, but frame views so you can create points of interest, highlight interest features of the outdoors that you did not have the influence, but you can bring indoors to your design by framing it. Perhaps you can highlight an entrance or even create points of interest what you are passing by, and perhaps you have a directed or a different angled window that will create this stopping point or will create this detailed approach to that particular area. So this is another biophilic design, which is creating the focal point or creating a different framed point of view. And also you can, this is something that interior design can do very well. It's foster curiosity using light and shadow control. So if you allow more light in one area and less light in the other area, you will be starting to direct people towards this path indoors. And even shadows can sometimes create this curiosity, like an encapsulated area indoors where you have like an open space, and then you have a smaller box with the meeting room, perhaps. That idea of that area enclosed or that area with a different lighting will create the curiosity of people knowing what is in there, or what is behind that element that you have screened, and then you can partially see what's there. Or where is that shadow coming from? Perhaps if you are reflecting with the natural light, some patterns, what are they coming from? So you start creating elements that will make your interior design more interesting. And also during the different times of the day, you could create different experiences with this. We have lots of modern architects who have used light and shadow into their design to create patterns, to create patterns on the floor, on the walls, and sometimes even traveling around this space when with the sun movement. So we're studying this to create points of interest in your design. Is very nice if you have the possibility of bringing enough sunlight indoors. Yes, TC.
Can I close the theme of views then with the pop culture?
With pop culture, yes, pop culture. Here we have an opportunity.
We talked a lot about nature, about representation, but there's also virtual reality, right? And people are talking a lot about that. There is a lot of billboards now that represent the sea waves and a cat and whatever, like giant cats and giant sea waves that really can be really scary. But the thing is, what studies have been showing is that the reaction people get from virtual reality is actually closer to photographs than to the real experience. Okay, so we have to think about two things. We started this class talking about real nature, plants, water, whatever. Okay, then we talked about representation. Okay. And now we'll talk about virtual reality, because this is the hierarchy of response that people get from it. Okay, so have this in mind. Studies also show when they compared virtual reality of landscapes to no view at all, the places that had some plants in the environment, they had more effect than a virtual window. So if they had no window and they had plants, or no window at all and no plants, was the most uncomfortable place. And then some plants versus a virtual window, the plants would yield more effect to people. Okay. And then if we have virtual reality, we don't have physiological response. Okay, we have perception, we notice, we have this, we remember about nature, but we don't get the physiological response of stress relief, of pleasure, of cognitive responses, better cognitive performance. Okay, so have this in mind. It's important in places where you don't have any other alternative. But if you can prefer, please allow nature. You will spend less energy, you will use less resources, and you will yield more results to people as well. Okay? And the pop culture reference, think about that movie, The Island, with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson, I guess. They wanted to escape a place of virtual reality, and also there is a Black Mirror episode from the first season where they also live in a virtual reality place, and they want to escape to a like American Idol thing. And this is also they create this they show this atmosphere where you get really trapped in this place, because it's not the same. And I don't know if I can get spoilers here, but anyway, watch those two and you will understand that people don't get happy in virtual reality.
All right,
Yeah.
let's proceed. So you can watch lots of movies after this class as an inspiration. Blade Runner 2077. It's a great movie. I love this movie. Guys, to end this class about biophilic design, tomorrow you understood. Tomorrow we are going to talk about acoustics. Third day, wellness, and the fourth day is going to be the best day of all sustainable materials and lighting design in the fifth class. So we have lots of things to cover. Guys, lots of things to tell in the end of this class on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe. Click on subscribe here so you will receive our content. It's important if you want to grow doing sustainable design. This is the way to go. I don't know a better way in this galaxy to make sustainable design and learn about this. So subscribe to our channel. Of course, like this video because YouTube does algorithms, crazy algorithms. We are all slaves of algorithms nowadays.
Oh no.
Yeah, algorithms nowadays. We are slaves of this, and we need to make YouTube understand that sustainability matters. YouTube don't know. YouTube is a stupid baby that it's going here
For
and there
babies.
because they are see people in Lamborghinis and they think this is the future of the planet. It's not. People on underwear and bikinis and crazy things like this is not the future. The future is sustainability. So we need to teach YouTube that sustainability is the future. Otherwise, we don't have a future. So we need to understand this crazy robot that sustainability matters. Okay. To get the summary on Instagram, you can get the beautiful summary. And what is going to be? You need to do 3 things, okay? Follow us there. It's just to follow. Click the button. It's very easy. We have tons of outstanding content just for Instagram, exclusive for Instagram, some drawings, some crazy drawings that we do. Comment the latest post, what you learned about the class. The latest post is going to be this, okay? I will just put here a random thing, right? I will just put here in your area. And this is going to be the password, okay? I will just put here the link to you so you can make the commentary, right? I will just take a picture, a very easy picture. Let me just put this for you, just a minute. All right. What you thought about the class, the first class?
I hope you liked it.
All right. So I just put the password there for you. The link here. So the link for the password is going to be you green in our area. What you need to do, you need to send us a direct message. So follow us, comment in the latest post what you learned about this class. I just posted this on Instagram and send us a direct link with the password you green in our area. Okay, so this is going to be the password, right? You green in your area. So now you know the password for today. And guys, we love to make these classes for you live, right? I think you already know. We love doing this for you. And we have 4 more days. So you just make the first day. Some people, they died along the way. They are not between us anymore, right? We started with 9,000 people. We just had 7 something in the end. So 1,000 people decided that sustainable design is not for them for some crazy reason, or maybe they just needed to do other things, right? But it's very important that you keep this in all days to get all the course content, because this content is live. We are going to keep this class only for a few hours because we know people from New Zealand, they have problems watching this. So we just keep for 4 or 5 hours this class live, and you can watch this again, or maybe recap something, right? The summary is going to be delivered on Instagram. You can get the summary there. It's going to be very easy for you to catch this. And every day we are going to have a new rule for catching the password, right? So this is the idea. And now you know that this course is not bullshit. It's lots of things to, we are going to talk about lots of deep things. And we see you in the next class. And of course, invite your friend, invite a person who can benefit from this, because we do this. That's a lot of effort. It's a lot of investment for us to make this. And it's going to be amazing to see friends here. And it's an enjoyable experience if you have a friend here with us, because if you have friends, you are exchanging content, right? Maybe you can say, oh man, what you thought about that strategy that TC said, or what do you think about the bad jokes of Philip? Man, this guy, he does very bad jokes, ha ha ha, right? So you can talk with people, you can share experiences. It's going to be much better for yourself. Another thing, in the 4th day, we are going to open opportunities for an advanced course. Okay, so it's going to be, of course, a paid opportunity, but it's going to be only in the 4th day for people who are there in the 4th day, because we don't want to open this opportunity for people who are not really into it. So you need to be in all days, right, to get this opportunity, to get the right, to get this opportunity, to get the opportunity, right? So this is the idea. So thank you guys, everyone, for joining us. It's outstanding to make events like this for you. And you need to send the messages. This is the strategy, right? I will just keep this for you once again. Subscribe to our channel, like this video on YouTube and on Instagram to get a summary. You understood. Follow us on Ugreen US. And not ugreen.com.br. This is another Instagram that we have. It's very big as well, but it's not this because this is in Portuguese. Comment in the latest
people
post
are
what
confusing about the direct link, Felipe. It's the direct message. You can send us a message inbox with the password.
All right. Direct message. Cool. Directed message. Thank you. Thank you
for
this. I'm the old guys, man. I'm the old guy. I need to catch up lots of these new things.
We are grandparents here trying to use modern features.
Yeah, I'm 58 years old now, so it's kind of hard for me. I'm joking. I'm not 58. I'm just joking. Maybe people will believe it's not good. I'm 40. Okay, just so I'm not trying to make jokes. It cannot be good for me. All right. Last words.
All right, guys. I just want to thank everyone that was here on the first class. Hope to see everyone tomorrow. Let's stay strong. We have tons of things to bring to you. Like I said, we promise bad jokes, pop culture, music, and lots of sustainability content. And like I said, we have things that we're going to enhance, different subjects in different days. But as you already had a feeling for it, some things will blend together, and we will go deeper into their area in the specific days. We will be trying to address some of the comments here. Chat was crazy rolling today, but thank you so much for being with us and for giving your attention and directing your attention to sustainability, which is something that we need very much in the construction field. So let's all keep our minds focused on this.
All right.
Thank you, people. See you tomorrow.
No, you need to make better. You can do it.
You can do better.
All right. So lots of content. We're going to talk about acoustics, materials, lighting, everything you need to know, everything sustainable. Please come with us.
We could do something synchronized. So we do this together. We see you in the next class. Okay?
Since we're doing in sync, like we should be doing like a picture like this.
Oh, just a minute. I need to get something here. I need to get the background so people who are watching live can still watch it. Just a minute, guys. All right.
But remember, today was about nature. We we are going to address a lot of things that you said today on the chat about energy efficiency and everything. So please bear with us this week. You won't regret. Lots of information, and well, if we will talk the week through. We can stay here forever.
Yes.
But anyway, we have to go. You have to go. So that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Thank
Another
you.
thing that I need to say is turn on the activation link of the next class. Okay. So it's very important. You are going to let me just get the YouTube screen here for you. Just a minute. You will see here that we are going to have other classes, right? So you can see hear us. We can see all of us. I'm doing this crazy face here, and let me just put this here for you, add to stream. Yeah, so you can see here, I paused this live link. You can see here, right? You can see all of these things here below. So you can turn on notifications for the next class. You click on this, you are going to be on our next class, going to be acoustics. So you just need to click on this, set reminder. You click on this and the reminder is going to be turned on. So YouTube can notify you when the class is going to be live. It's going to be in 24 hours. You can click on this again and go to the next class and set the reminder again. As you can see, right, I want to watch this class, so I'm setting the reminders. I will set the reminder again. On the fourth class, I can just go here again and click on this. And the last class, I can do the same thing, right? Oh, this is the last class, so you don't have reminders for another class because this is the last.
The
so
last?
Yeah, you don't have another reminder of we are not infinite doing in an infinite way doing this. So you just need to click on set reminders in all classes and reminder on. So YouTube is going to help you doing this, right? So this is a good way for you to learn sustainable design for free in our classes. Okay, so do this now. Click on activate the reminders. You are going to be here with us live. It's going to be amazing. YouTube is going to warn you about the classes again. So it's going to be great to see everyone together. It's all awesome to see everyone here with us. All of these events, everyone together, this warm events like this, thousands of people live. So we see you. Let's do this. So 1, 2, 3. We see you. Let's go, TC. Let's go. Let's go.
Come on, let's
you
do
froze
this
right on time.
One,
Yeah,
two,
okay. Let's do this.
Let's go. So
1,
we
2,
see
3.
you in the next class. Right. 1, 2, 3. Man, you're very
Okay,
good.
we see you. Well, let's go.
I will say we see you, and you two say in the next class and point your finger to this camera and look for the camera. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go. We see you
In the next class.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.